Hey guys, hope you're doing well this morning. It's Wednesday morning. I'm on my way to see a client and got a little time here, so I'm gonna shoot another video. So we're gonna make a top. What we're gonna talk about today is anger. Something a lot of us struggle with, myself included. So, you know, I had an awareness yesterday night as I was winding down, getting ready for bed, and I realized that, you know, like I got this new puppy and housebreaking it, and the dog, you know, shit all over the cage and pissed all over the cage, and I was tired. You know, it was like 11:30 at night. I worked all day, just, you know, did jujitsu for 2 fucking hours. So I was just exhausted, and I just, you know, I didn't hit the dog or anything, but like I got angry. Like I was like yelling and I was pissed. You know, nothing abusive or anything, but like I got pretty animated about it. Just showed my frustration. You know, and I was thinking, you know, I know that, you know, even, you just don't want to show, like, you don't want to do that around a young puppy. I mean, it's dog's gonna be fine or anything. It's not like, again, I didn't touch the dog, never do that, but like, you know, I got angry, I yelled, I screamed, I pounded my fist on the floor, and it was funny, my grandmother actually called me because I had called her, and she's a night owl, and she just had breast cancer, so I was wanting to know how she was doing. She's going to go to the doctor tomorrow, well, today, yesterday would have been tomorrow. And she's like, oh, well, you know, that's normal, you know, you got a temper, your grandfather has it. You know, she's trying to justify my bad behavior. And I mean, she was trying to be nice, and she had the right intentions. But what she was saying is, you know, you're Italian, your grandfather has a temper, your father has a temper, you know, your other grandfather has a temper, like, you know, you just have a shorter fuse, and, you know, you were frustrated, you're tired, you know, anybody would get pissed off at their dog for doing that, especially since she's doing it a lot. And I'm like, okay, but what if I had a really hot girl, I'm on a date, and I bring this girl home, and we're in my house, and the dog's shit in the cage? Would I act like that in front of that girl? Absolutely not. No matter how pissed off I was, I wouldn't show any temper. And I got me to think, it's not that we can't, and this could go for anything. Like, let's say some guy in a bar mouths off to you, calls you a faggot, or calls you a bitch, or says something, you know, pretty egregious to you, and you knock his ass out because you don't, you know, you look around and you just take a swing and you fucking deck the guy. I guarantee that if that guy said the exact same thing in the exact same scenario, but there was a cop in uniform standing right there, you wouldn't do that. You'd swallow your pride and you'd walk the fuck away and you'd control yourself. So it got me to think, like, it's not about having a bad temper. It's about not having the discipline to not act on those emotions, those strong emotions that we feel. Because when we don't feel the imminent threat of either a legal consequence, a social consequence, a physical consequence, we feel emboldened to just fly off the handle. That's why people react, in my opinion, are so brazen to act in this manner when they're driving. You know, and the thing of it is that, you know, this is Florida. Like, a lot of people are carrying a strap in their car. And I'll never forget the second day I was here. Some guy cut me off and I beeped at him, and I'm trying to go around him to get over the light, and the guy was in a red Charger. He pulled down his window and put a 9mm and stuck it right out the car window at me. the thing is, guys, you don't know who's carrying, but a lot of people don't think that, or they don't live in an area where it's known that people are carrying guns. I, however, do. I live in a place where everyone's carrying a gun. So, you know, but when you don't think there's going to be a consequence, you're more likely to act on your anger. And that's why a lot of people like flip people off in the car, because, oh, well, they're not going to do anything. I'll just close my window and drive off. Or they'll yell out profanities or racial slurs at somebody, you know, things that they would never do if they didn't feel the protection of the car. So, you know, this is just what I'm saying here is, you know, I grew up just thinking that this is just the way that I am. I'm just a hothead. You know, father like son type of a thing, grandfather like grandson type of thing. You know, I can't help it. It's just I have a genetic disposition towards it. Now, you know, look, I'm not saying that there's not some people that are more hot-blooded than others. There definitely are. There are people that are very mild-mannered that just don't like confrontation, and they just won't. But they maybe they have other problems. Maybe their problem is they don't stand up for themselves, so they're weak. But they don't have an anger problem. But they have a problem standing up for themselves. You know, so we all have our own. You know, we all have our own cross to carry, as they say. But I'm just telling you guys that if you think that, you know, you can't help but act that way because, you know, you're just wired that way, it's not true. It may be harder for you. You know, certain people have, I know that people have predispositions. They can have predispositions to being fat, to being skinny, to being an addict, an alcoholic, having certain personality traits like a quickness to anger, a quickness to like a lower threshold for violence. You know, I got hit as a kid, right? So a lot of us that got hit as a kid, we may intellectually not think that that's right, but subconsciously we might do that to our kids by just, well, that's how I was raised, you know. Or we may think that we deserved it. Well, you know, like I was being an asshole, so I got my ass kicked. What else? What do you want? You know, so these things have to be questioned. They have to be challenged because and this is the second part of this video that I'm going to talk about, is the costs of not controlling your anger are very costly, especially when it comes to social interactions. You know, my father has a bad temper. My dad has always been a very volatile guy. You know, he's the type of person that will just fly off at the handle, and always has been that way. And I've seen my dad go off on people. I've seen my dad get violent. I've seen my dad get aggressive. I've seen it many times. And when I look at it, you know, it has cost him. You know, one of his best friends that he's been friends with for like 40 or 50 years didn't invite him to his son's wedding. And I can only posit a guess that that's because he didn't want my dad to cause a scene. See, the thing is, like, even if you're in the right, when you show anger and you cause a scene, even if it's justified, or even if you can make an argument that it's justified, you embarrass every single person that's with you because they're associated with you during that blow up. I'll give you an example of how this has cost me. I was out with a couple guys. I didn't know them that well. We were just kind of beginning to become friends, and we're out in downtown Fort Lauderdale in Las Olas. It's popular place to go out around here. And I had walked in. I had to go to the bathroom. I remember I'm in a place called American Social, and I walk in to go to the bathroom, and I'm coming out, and I just saw this girl, and I just started flirting with her, and she was just kind of nasty, so whatever, I just walked away. And about 30 minutes later, she walks outside with her friends to go leave. We're outside on the patio, we're just hanging out, and she starts like making fun of us, or like just being rude, just being a cunt. Just gonna come out and say it. And like, okay, yeah, was she wrong for behaving that way? 100%. But I go off. I got pissed. And I said, your father should have taught you how to show respect to men. I said something like that. I didn't say anything threatening. I didn't say any swear words. I didn't call her any names. But I yelled at her. And because she was so brazen about just mouthing off to all of us and like making a scene, but I took it to the next level. And again, I didn't do anything illegal. I didn't do anything threatening. So it wasn't like what I did was like against the law, or I could have gotten myself in trouble, something like that. It wasn't like that. But it was that I acted in a way that made this situation worse. Right? And I never ever heard from those guys again. And I know why. What else could it be, right? So what I'm trying to say, guys, is this. There's a heavy cost to you not keeping your anger in check. Also, with women, you got to understand, like, women are weaker than us. They're the weaker sex. And because they're weaker, I'm not saying anything negative about them. It's just the truth. Like, women are weaker than men. Physically, that is. Because of that, women are in a more vulnerable situation, especially when they're alone with a man. Like, if a girl is alone in a car with you, she's in a vulnerable situation. If she's alone in your place with you, she's in a vulnerable situation. So, like, she really needs to trust you that you're not going to hurt her. You're not going to, put her in danger. Because her ability to defend herself in most situations is not that great against a man. So, if you show that you're a hothead and that you've got anger issues, it's going to be very scary to a woman, because she's going to think, what if this guy gets mad at me and hits me? What if I have a child with this guy and the baby starts crying, or the little kid breaks something and he beats my kid? So you gotta really understand that there's a major cost to showing your anger, especially early on. Look, I mean, sometimes you can't. Sometimes there's things that are just like so crazy, where like you have to act. But even in that, I'll give you an example. I was out a couple weeks ago. I had just worked like 13 or 14 hours. Fucking crazy. And I had one of my dogs with me. I had my German Shepherd. I have a black German Shepherd. You've probably seen her in a couple of my videos. And I'm out, and I'm in Coral Gables, which is a nicer area in Miami. And it was the Vikings-Lions. It was the last week of the regular season. I just wanted to sit down, have a beer, watch the game, be left alone. I worked 13 fucking hours. It was a Sunday. I was just wanted to be left alone. So I get to the bar. I order a beer. I'm sitting there, and this guy wants to pet my dog, and I just tell him no. I'm not trying to be a dick. I don't want to engage with anyone right now. All I've been doing was engaging with people all day. And about 30 minutes later, I could see that he was with like two other guys and a woman. They're looking to leave. And they get up, and he comes at me. Like, I could see by his facial expressions and his body language that he's coming to try to fight me. So I get up and I go like this. I'm just, my hands are here, so I don't want to look like the aggressor, because if I have to lay this guy out, I want it to look like it was self-defense. I want to do everything I can, because I'm always thinking that if there's a court case, what's the camera going to say about me and my conduct? Okay? He starts mouthing off like, you motherfucker, let's go, I'm from Colombia, da, 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 da. And I'm just like, I just go, hey man, if you really want to do this, okay, let's go. But I don't think you want this, but okay, whatever you want, come here. That's all I said, very calmly. I'm letting him mouth off. His two friends are holding me back. This girl goes and gets the manager of the bar. They come out and they kick the guy out. The whole bar was like, hey, this guy was fucking with this guy with his dog. This guy didn't do anything wrong. I didn't back down, but I didn't escalate it. If I was gonna say like he was 90% the aggressor, and I egged him on a little bit. I mean, I was just like, I busted his balls a little bit. Colombia, what? I'm like, Colombia? You mean the team that lost to Argentina in the World Cup? Those losers? Like, I fucked with them a little bit. And maybe I probably shouldn't have done that, but whatever. But the point is that I didn't escalate it. And the reaction that I got from the entire bar was that, wow, how did you control yourself? This 25-year-old kid and his girlfriend were like thoroughly impressed that I didn't get aggressive, that I handled myself with such poise and confidence and calmness, even in a tense situation. Even when somebody was yelling at me, swearing at me, threatening me, making threatening overtures at me, I held it together. And that's how you want to respond to a situation, because I got social clout because of that. I got respect because of how I handled it. I did not get respect how I handled myself at American Social. I got disrespect. I got, let's not even hang out with this guy anymore. He's a fucking hothead. If you're a hothead, you're a liability, because people will think that you're going to cause social damage to them, especially with women. So you got to understand this as a man. Like, you got to keep your shit in check, or else you're going to end up like Wes Watson. I'm out.